Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video, and the subject in that we will be covering is videography, and more specifically we're going to talk about a panning shot, also known as a pan shot. Now these shots can be difficult to pull off, but they're not impossible. Alright, so let's take a look at the camera that we'll be using out in the field today, and for me I use a Sony HD camera. I had to get it straight here. Now, when I'm shooting out in the field, I use this LCD viewfinder right here, and that's because it gives me basically the ability to see a larger screen and to see more of what I'm going to shoot. Now, some people they like to use this little viewfinder right here in the back of the camera. For me, that's too small, and when I go to set up shots, I need to see see a little more. I need to have a bigger image and see a little more of what I'm shooting than what is provided just in here. Alright, so now that we're out in the field, we have our camera set up, we need to do a couple things. We need to check that the angles in both the beginning and the end of this panning shot are good, that the camera isn't off. And then we need to test the pan itself. Well, it looks like everything's ready to go, so let's move on to the next phase of how to shoot a panning shot. Alright, so this image that you're looking at here is not actually an image from a video, it is from my digital still camera. But this is going to be used to simulate what you would see in your viewfinder. And when you set up a panning shot, the first thing you need to do with your viewfinder is you need to divide that up mentally into 3 separate sections, like I have here on the screen. Now the train in this image here is running south to north. So we have our 3 sections divided up, and we're going to let the train run through the first section, and we're not going to do anything. We're just going to say, okay, it's ran through that first section. Now in most cases, as in this one, we're going to let the train run through the second section of our viewfinder. But when it hits that imaginary line at the end of the second section, that's when things are about to change. Alright, so the train has moved through the second section, and it's at that imaginary line at the end of the second section. From that point, we need to pan and move with the lead unit in the consist. And what you need to do is you just need to keep a slight amount of room ahead of the lead unit, and sometimes if you're a little tardy, that's okay too. You just don't want to cut off too much of the lead unit. When you're out shooting railroad footage, one thing to keep in mind is that Amtrak trains move much faster than general freight trains. As a result, you'll need to start your pan earlier than if you were just shooting footage of a general freight. In this last image, you will see a line drawn just before the final blue line in the second segment. This would be to indicate when you need to start your pan when shooting an Amtrak train. In this upcoming video clip, we're going to take what we learned here today and put it to the test. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you learned something from this. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line.